Yeah, you can start.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. We all have this innate desire to be happy, to be peaceful, to not have problems in life. This is the innate desire that we all have. This desire has not been taught to us by someone like they have taught us to study, to work, and other things. Like they have taught us to study, to earn money, to lead a life. All these things have been taught to you at some point in your life. Without one thing that comes within you from the time of your birth is that you want to be happy. You want to be peaceful. Even when the child comes out of the mother's womb, the child starts crying because that comfort that it had within the mother's womb is now lost, and it is put into a new world that it is unaware of. So from the moment you are born till the moment you die, directly or indirectly, all your actions are directed towards this goal that I have to be peaceful. I want happiness. But the problem is we do not know the real meaning of this happiness. We do not know where we get this happiness. You go to some work, you are thinking in such a way that I might go to work, earn today, live happily thereafter. But by our experience, we know that that has never happened. We were told that you study, you finish your studies and you secure a job, you are settled. But that has not happened. But consciously or unconsciously, we are constantly moving towards this goal by performing some actions. But till now, we have not been able to know or understand how to get that. See, if I'll make you, because why is that? Is because happiness, peace, all these things are your own nature. Happiness is your own nature. Peace is your own nature. It is not apart from you. Anything apart from you that you gain will stay for some time and then leave. The worldly things, to make it understandable, the worldly things that you acquire, that you learn, stays with you for a particular period of time and then moves away. So this happiness, this peace is your own nature. It is not, it is to be understood as your own real nature. To make you understand, I will give you a scenario so that you can understand where the real happiness lies. Okay? Suppose you wake up on a Saturday morning and you have severe headache. Okay? You have severe headache. Now what do? You will put aside all your work, all the chores that you have to do or you ought to do, and the first thing that you want to address that day is to get rid of your headache. You perform all the actions, all the necessity actions with only one goal in mind, that I have to get rid of this headache. Why? Is because without your real nature is being without the headache. When something else comes into you, you want to get rid out of that. Similarly, the worldly conflicts that you have, worldly problems that you have, is not your real nature. It is not there in your real nature. All these things have been superimposed on your mind. All the great acharyas, all the texts have come to give you this knowledge, to give you this message. All the great acharyas, all the great seers that have come or come into this holy land, holy earth, is to give us this message that we have forgotten. That is why Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya also descended on this earth to give this message of the Vedas, which is the penultimate truth, the text that upholds the penultimate truth. 1200 odd years ago. Had not Bhagavad Padacharya, Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya not descended on this earth, I highly doubt if this knowledge would have sustained today. It was such a chaos when Bhagavad Padacharya took his birth. People were quarreling among themselves. There was no harmony amongst people. Each wanted to show that they are great and only what they said is the truth without any backing to it. They wanted to misguide people according to their own whims and fancies. There were even sects of people, a group of people, where they used to cut snakes. They used to cut human beings for their own whims and fancies and for those people who do not agree to them. There was no harmony. The society was clearly divided. And it is during this chaotic time that Parameshwara, Lord Shiva, decided to descend upon this earth and come as Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya around 1200 years ago. Had this young boy has done phenomenal work in 32 years that even if each one of us live for 100 years, cannot complete such work even in 32 lives. It is that humongous, magnanimous spectrum of work that Adi Shankara has given to this mankind. Mainly, leave the other things. He brought about a harmony in the society. He united the society. He gave this message right from an elephant to a human being, right from an ant to everybody, and told them this message, this pristine truth. This shloka goes this way. Kin jyotistava bhanuman ahanime ratrau pradipadikam syadevam ravideepa darshana vidau kin jyotiraakhya चक्षुस्तस्य निमीलनादि समये किम धीहि धियो दर्शने किम तत्राहम अतो भवान परमकम ज्योतिस्तदस्मि प्रभो. This shloka is a typical conversation that happens between a guru, a teacher, and a student who has come in search of this truth, that he wants to get liberated, he wants to be peaceful, he wants to be happy always with no traces of sadness. He has surrendered to that teacher, asking to be in eternal happiness, eternal peace, because he has seen through his experience that all the worldly pleasures, worldly happiness, worldly enjoyments that come are very limited. And he wants to be eternally free from all these things and enjoy in that eternal happiness. So the teacher, out of utmost compassion, the teacher who he has already realized his own nature of his self, out of utmost compassion, gives or teaches that student who has come to him in search of this knowledge. The teacher first asks him, Kim Jyotihi Tava? My dear child, what is the source of light? Okay. I will give the grossest explanation now, and maybe I will hold your hand and take you into the contemplation part later after this segment. The teacher asks, Kim Jyotihi Tava? My dear child, what is the light? What is the source of your light? Student does not understand this question properly. So he says, Me ahani bhanuman. During the day, it is the sun. So the guru asks, during the night, what is it? The student says, it is the moon. It is through this moon, during the night, when it is dark, we get to know things. That is the source of light. And when the moon is absent, what do you do? And when the sun is also absent, what do you do? Ravideepa darshana vidhau kim jyotihi me akhyahi chakshuhu. He says two things here, that first, when the light is also absent, what do you do? So the student asks, or the student tells, that it is through that sound I move about. I am in absolute darkness and I hear someone calling my name. I move towards that sound. Okay? And he says, okay, accepted, my dear child. Through what do you see the sun? Do you see the light? Do you see the lamp that puts light on all other things when the sun and the moon is absent? Through what do you envision this light? The teacher asks. So the student says, Chakshuhu. Chakshuhu means the eyes. He says it is through the eyes that I see the sun, I see the moon, I see the lamp, I see the tube light, I see the light in front of me. Okay, the teacher now gets subtle. Okay, he asks, Tasya nimilanadi samaye kim? He asks, okay, accepted, my child. I understand that you see through your eyes. Okay, how do you see when those eyes are closed? He says, Dhi, through my intellect. The teacher is very happy. He says, Diyaha darshane kim jyotihi. What light knows that you are understanding through that intellect? There is something else that is shining forth that makes you realize that you are understanding all these things through your intellect. What is that? Now the student says, Tatra aham. He says it is through that I, that we all have this I exist. This thought has never left us. Has never left us, and it has been there. He says, Tatra aham, I. Ataha bhavan paramakam jyotihi. So he says, My dear child, you are that radiance, you are that light through which you are able to see all other lights. Through which, because of that light within you, you are able to see the sun. It is through, because of this light, you are able to see the moon. It is because of this light within you, you are able to see the light in front of you. So the student says, yes, now I've realized that I am that light. Now we will fragment this in this shloka. This is the entire essence of Vedanta. Okay. This is the grossest meaning that I have given to you. I will ask, once the translation is over, we will pick about each sentence, each question, the purport behind that each question, and what is the teacher intending to ask. What are the nuances, subtleties behind that question, and we will see that. Kim Jyotihi Tava. What is the source of light that we saw? He says, through the sun, through the moon, through the light. Through the light that is shining here. Understand one thing, that you exist at all times. That feeling that I exist has never been lost. If you recollect, it could be from your childhood, it could be from during your youth, before marriage, after you have had children, when you are in your old age. All throughout this, there is one thing that has been common, is that feeling that I exist. That has never been lost. Now also, you know that you exist. All other things are just in your thought. You know that you exist. Okay? That is the biggest light that we have within us. Okay? So he says, the Guru intends to show this light within each of us, that as I exist. Vedanta is this simple. You realize yourself, you are freed. You have come here for what? To somehow become free. We all have this desire. You want, you do not want. You somehow want to get rid of all these things and be happy. That is why you talk about early retirements, savings, and all these things come because you want to get rid of all these things and be happy. Why? Because it is your own nature, it is within you. But what are we doing is, you know that you have problems, you have difficulties where? In the outside world, right? But where are we searching for the solution? In the world itself. How foolish are we? You know that the fire burns you. Okay? So, where should you search solutions for your fire burns? Will you search it in the fire itself? That is what we are doing, where you know that the world is never been kind to us or happy. It has never given us that eternal happiness. But we are still searching happiness in this world. Now the Guru wants to give him this, that the happiness is within you. You turn your mind inwards and see that there is this feeling that I exist. All other things do not stand the test of time. Even now, if you can do it after this talk, you have to follow me throughout this process. I am sorry that we have to break in between due to language constraints. But if you can just follow my instructions very clearly, this knowledge will shine within each of us, because you also have that feeling that I exist. Does anyone in this group does not have that feeling that I do not exist? Okay, so this Guru is going to give him this message. Now, The first mistake that we have done is we are thinking that we are this body. This is the first mistake that we have done. Are we really this body? We will go step by step. Are we really this body? The truth has to be, truth can never change. That is the definition for the truth, right? It has to be same at all times and all situations, right? But are you the real body? The body that you see, the gross part of the body that you see, the visible body that you see, are you really that body? Every moment the body has been changing. There were few years back where this body did not exist. Then there will be some time later where this body will go away. But even when you were small, when you have grown up, while growing up, while dying also, you have this feeling that we have never paid heed to that existence within us. See, I will give you a trick. This is how Vedanta works. I will give you a trick to show that you are unconscious of your body. How is because when you have to think about me, right? Or when you have to think about the other person, right? You will need his body, his features, his attributes to remember him. But for you to remember yourself, when you say I, or when someone asks who is in this dark room, you just say I am here. But you have never consciously thought about yourself as your body. When you think about yourself, when the concentration falls within that I within you, you think it as pure consciousness, existence, and not as the body. Body is just like the bubble, is just like the waves in that ocean. It is there, it appears as an ocean, it is appearing as a wave, and it will eventually go away. But this existence as I has never been changed. I will make it more gross, more subtle. Okay? Does your body ever know that you have been married? Does your body ever know that you have had children? Think, you will have to closely think, because your body does not know. Had your body known that all the events that are happening in your life, when you see a dead body, when you see a closed one passed away and you are crying, you are lamenting, that body should react to your emotions, because that same body was reacting to your emotions a while ago before it passed away. Now that body is lying there, but is not reacting to any of your emotions. You are crying, you are lamenting, you are hugging it, you are asking it to come back. That body which was so lovable to you is not reacting to you now. Then what was there inside that body which was actually getting connected to you? What is there within me and within that body that was making us connect, that was making us talk, that was making us have a relationship? The gross body along with its sense organs, right? Do the sense organs actually have, or do the sense organs actually work on their own? You'll have to think, you'll have to ponder. Because the very good example that I can think of is your deep sleep state. When you are in deep sleep, complete sleep, unaware of this world, right? You do not have your body. You do not have your sense organs working. You do not know even if someone touches you. You do not know even if someone calls you when you are in your deep sleep. Right? Then what is, because of what are all these things working? See, if I have to make it more understandable, this deep sleep is God's blessing to us, because every day God is pushing us to that state where He is showing us our real nature. See, all of us make preparations to sleep. We want a good cushioned bed, mattress. We want the AC to be in a particular temperature. All these things is ready, but none of us want to get up. We feel we do not want to get up. We we find it difficult to get up. Why? See, in the awakening state, you have everything that you are possessing. You have your wife, you have your children, you have your car, you have your house, you have your insurance. All these things are there, but you do not want to get up. But exactly opposite in the deep sleep state, where you do not have anything. You do not have even your own body that you hold so closely. You do not have your sense organs. You do not have your wife who's next to you. You do not know if she is there or not. But you only know one thing, that I slept peacefully. Everyone has this feeling that once you wake up, the only thing you know is that I slept peacefully. For societal pressure, you may say that I was having deep pang. I was worried, so I did not sleep and other things. But deep down, you know that you slept peacefully. That I slept peacefully is the Atmanubhava, is that existence experience. It is because you are all yearning for that experience, you want to keep sleeping whenever possible. In the modern days also, whenever a patient gets into this depression, one thing the doctor advises is to sleep, continuously keep sleeping for some very long, prolonged hours. Because you do not have the mind, you do not have your intellect, you do not have your sense organs, you do not have your wife, you do not have your children. No one. Now we had stopped till deep sleep. We will continue. Now, a natural question arises that why do I have to know this for me to be free and eternally happy? Why can't I keep sleeping forever? It's a natural question, but sleeping is also another state. Just like waking, dream, sleeping is also another state where it has a beginning, then you are in that state, and that state eventually ends. But this consciousness, this witness consciousness, it is that witnessed to all your experience. If you closely observe, nothing is actually affecting it. All the transactions, all the events that are taking place is only happening in the mind. This I that the shining within you has never changed. So you cannot be eternally sleeping, because sleeping is another state. Okay. Suppose, to make you understand, suppose you are in darkness and you want to come out of that darkness. How do? You travel towards that light. You will not do the other way around, where you will go deep inside the darkness in search of light. That can never happen, right? Similarly, this bondage, this superimposition has to be removed with the true knowledge. The false information, the false knowledge has to be removed through the right knowledge, which is the Shruti Vakya. The Vedanta gives us this message. Okay, now coming to your mind and intellect, which has been the cause for all your problems. All the events that has happened in your life till now has only happened in your mind, nowhere else. Okay? See, are you the real mind? You are calling something as mind, 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 mind. But have you ever seen the mind? Do you know what the mind looks like? Where is the mind? None of us know if that actually exists. Vedanta proudly declares this, saying that there is nothing called as mind. Mind is in itself a superimposition. Because when you are a kid, okay, when you are a kid, when you are an infant, you did not have any mind. So the memories, until this so-called mind was pushed into you, all the events before this does not exist in you. All the events after your death will not also exist in you. All the events that is happening around you in deep sleep is not affecting you. There may be a world war going outside, but in deep sleep, nothing is there for you. But only one thing you know from deep sleep is that I slept peacefully. That only that thing is there within you. Okay? So now the gross body is negated as not being true. The mind and the intellect is also negated. So what remains is that absolute bliss, absolute consciousness, absolute witness. Witness is the right word. See, all the events that has happened to you, the only witness is this anubhava within you. We are unaware of that holy trunk within us. I, so when you turn your mind inwards, when each thought arises within you, do an inquiry as to for whom is this thought arising. Am I that thought? What was I before this thought? What am I going to be after this thought? Is the thought really existing in me? Or is the thought coming and going only in the mind? When you do the vichara, it becomes clear to you that none of these things are affecting you. All the emotions, all the worldly experiences that you have are only in the mind. If you see, there is nothing that is affecting that. So when one turns inward, when one turns or pushes his mind inward, he realizes that it is because of that existence of I. The world existed. It is because of this existence of I, the relatives, the wife, the husband, the children, the mother, the father, everyone existed. When this is gone, everything is gone. Okay? So, you know by your experience. And this is what that Eka Shloki talks about. This is the entire gamut of this Vedanta. The Vedanta has come to give us this knowledge. I will conclude with one interesting story of what we have within us and what we have lost. Maybe for bonus, I will give two stories. Okay. So there was a beggar who was sitting outside on the footpath and was begging alms. Okay. So it was a norm, it was a tradition for him that he used to come every day to that particular spot and sit on a trunk and beg. Okay? He used to sit on that trunk and beg. Whoever passes by, he used to ask for alms. So what happens one day, a great saint who happens to come there, this beggar asks for alms from that saint. So the saint says, I am also a beggar like you, so I have nothing much left with me to give it to you. So, but that saint says, see, I see one thing, that you are sitting on a trunk. You are sitting on a trunk and you are begging. Have you ever opened that trunk and seen what's inside? So the beggar says, no, 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 you don't have to get into all these things. We have been beggars from generations. My grandfather was a beggar. My father was a beggar. Now I am a beggar. And all three of us have sat in the same place, same spot, and on the same trunk. None of us have ventured into opening that. It is a norm. So why would we open that? So the saint says, I understand all these things are accepted, but why don't you just open that? Just open that and see as to what's there inside. Then there is a big argument between this saint and this beggar. So the saint finally convinces this beggar to open that box. So, and when the beggar opens this box, he sees that trunk, that box is filled with diamonds. And the beggar now need not have to beg at all. This is not the beggar's story, but it is in fact our story. We have this trunk, we have this great asset which is within us. You know that you open that treasure box within you, you understand everything. You know that. Vedanta gives us one vakya that eka vijnanena sarva vijnanam. By knowing that one truth, you know about all the other things. Because all the other things, the world around you owes its existence to this self within you. For you, your office or the other places are just in your thought. Suppose for me, Chile, Colombia, South America, Spanish and other things are just in my thought. They do not exist in me. For you, India is just in the thought. When you come to India, that part of South America becomes a thought to you. Even when you were in South America, when you traveled, when you come to India, all these places, you were that witness to all the happenings around you. This is the story of the Vedanta. So when you turn inwards, when you pay heed to that existence which is shining forth within you as I, you understand its nature. When you do the inquiry of that, you open that treasure box of diamond within you so that you don't have to beg in the outside world. Vedanta is this simple and it has come to give us this message. Okay, this is the first story. Bonus story, how this happens? It happens through his utmost grace. Is one right. Second is when that yearning for you becomes so strong within you that I want to know myself. Everyone would have had this question as to who am I? Where did I come from? What is this world about? Where is the world? Who created? How is this working? All these things everyone would have had. Or sometimes you want to see God. All these happenings. How does this happen? When the yearning, you have this true desire to know about all these things. Okay? That message will come to you in unexpected ways. This is the secret of Vedanta. When the yearning within you is very true, very sincere, this message of Vedanta comes to you in unexpected ways. For that, I am reminded of one more story. Okay? So, there was a person His name was Half Fool. Okay. He was not a fully full. His name was Half Fool. So he was walking on the road. Okay. There's the river flowing on the other side. Okay. Walking on the road, the river is flowing on the other side. There is a person standing there is a tree on the banks of that river. There is this person, this half fool, wants to go to a destination. So he asks about the destination to the person who's standing under the tree. So this person under the tree colloquially says that if you go up straight, that you would reach the destination. This half fool misinterprets it to be to go up straight on the tree, not on the road. So he climbs up the tree, and he's standing on that branch. Now that branch is about to fall, and now he's holding on to that branch and swinging. Now the other half fool, who is this half's friend, comes on an elephant. He's coming on an elephant. So he sees this friend hanging on that branch and asks, "Hey, why are you hanging in here? What's the issue?" So he says, "There was a person who was a learned scholar standing under this tree. So he asked me to go up straight. So I came here, and I'm now hanging, and I'm expecting that destination to come to me very soon." So this person on that elephant says, "Hey, you know what? I am also going there. Instead of going so slowly and sitting on this elephant, I'd rather hang in with you." So he leaves the elephant. Now he holds that friend's leg, and both of them start hanging on that branch. Okay. Now what happens? They see a big treasure. Okay. Now both of them, now meanwhile what happens? The person who came on the elephant is a very good singer. So the person on top says, "You know what? This journey is also starting to get very bore. Why don't you sing a song we both can enjoy?" So this person, the person who's down, starts singing. After one song, the person on top says, "I have never heard such a rendition. Beautiful rendition. I think you deserve a clap." And he claps his hand. He leaves the branch and he claps his hand. Both of them fall into that river. And they are being wept by that river's current. Meanwhile, what happens? A trunk with precious stones is swept away by that flood and is in the middle of this river. Now, these two people who are surviving for their life now want to open that box and see what is there and divide among themselves. So they move towards that box, open that box, and fight among themselves for some time and divide whatever is inside that box into half. Okay. Meanwhile, what has happened? The river's flow is about to join the ocean. They have crossed the limits. They have moved. Now they are anxious. They are perplexed. Now they somehow want to get out of this. They know that there is no other way around for them to come out of this, and they have been fooled. Now they are very anxious. They do not know what to do. They somehow want to come out of this. They have this deep desire within them that they somehow want to come out of this. That is when a learned person who's standing in the beach near where the ocean and the river meets sees these two people crying, lamenting, and asks, "My dear children, what is the issue?" So these two tell, "No, we are not in a position to give you all these answers. First, pull us out onto the land. Then maybe we can give you the answer." So this person, out of compassion, pulls them onto the land. They are drenched. They are very tired. After some time, the person says the entire story of what all happened, what all transpired. So the learned person who pulled them out is laughing at them. He says, my dear child, you did not have any problems when you started this journey. You invited problems upon yourself. You are suffering on your own self, based on your own actions. Had you just stayed wherever you are, you would not have problems. This is not their story again. This is our story. We have forgotten how to move about in this world. We are doing all the circus possible. You see, in the circus, the tiger comes, everything is an act. When the learned person comes, pulls you out of this ocean and gives you this message that you do not have any problems. You do not have any sufferings. Your nature is eternal. You are eternal. You are free. Your nature is happiness. When someone gives you this message, and when your mind, that recognition falls on that object within you as I, you become free. This is what the Vedanta has come to give us. All these things are just stories to make you understand that your suffering is there is nothing called as suffering. You are superimposing all these things on your mind and you are suffering on your own accord. Do you suffer in your sleep? If your real nature was suffering, that suffering you should have experienced that suffering even in your deep sleep. You do not experience anything in deep sleep. Only thing that you experience is that happiness in your sleep. So you are that light because of which you are able to see the moon, sun, light, everything. You are that light because of which the world exists around you. It is because of this light you are happy. That light is happiness. Jyotihi tadasmit prabho. This is what Bhagavad Padacharya has condensed and given us the message. This is the entire gamut of Vedanta. Bhagavad Padacharya, Adi Shankara has given us in one message. Shouldn't we show our gratitude to him who has given us this message? Shouldn't we revere him